Welcome to the suburban hellscape, where common sense went to die. Property lines became battle zones, and the collective IQ of humanity is measured in negative integers. Today, we're rediving into neighbor complaints so spectacularly stupid that they make flat earthers look like Nobel Prize candidates. I present to you 19 masterclasses in entitlement that will make you question whether we deserve civilization. 1. The Shadow Conspiracy. A homeowner filed a formal complaint because their neighbor, S2-story house, was casting a shadow on their yard during winter afternoons. This visionary demanded the neighbor either demolish the second floor or pay compensation for stolen sunlight. The neighbor's response: slowly explaining how the Earth's rotation works, as if teaching a kindergartner about day and night. Spoiler alert, the sun doesn't care about your property values. 2. The Gravity Defier. Someone called the police because their upstairs neighbor was walking too loudly. Not stomping. Walking. This genius genuinely believed their neighbor should either levitate or crawl. Everywhere to accommodate their superhuman hearing. The officer who responded reportedly needed a 5-minute break to compose himself before explaining that footsteps are, in fact, legal. 3. The Color Crusader. A resident demanded their neighbor repaint their house because the shade of blue was too cheerful and was causing them emotional distress. They actually used the phrase assault by optimism. The painter they hired to assess the situation quoted them for therapy instead of paint samples. Should excessive happiness be illegal? Let me know in the comments. 4. The Wind Whisperer. A homeowner filed a complaint claiming their neighbor's wind chimes were summoning bad energy into their home. Not that they were too loud, they believed the chimes were literally cursed. They demanded the neighbor either perform an exorcism on the chimes or remove them entirely. The neighbor's face when receiving this letter could have powered a small city with pure confusion. 5. The Parking Prophet. Someone called a tow truck on their neighbor S car because it was parked in an aesthetically displeasing manner on the neighbor S own driveway. This professional apparently believed they had jurisdiction over the visual arrangement of other people's property. The tow company hung up. Twice. 6. The Bird Prosecutor. A resident threatened legal action because birds from their neighbor's yard were flying into their yard and chirping. They demanded the neighbor control their birds or face consequences. The neighbor, struggling to maintain composure, asked if they should perhaps arrest the sparrows or just issue them citations. Peak ignorance has entered the chat. 7. The Smell Specialist. Someone complained that their neighbor S outdoor grill smelled too delicious and was making them hungry against their will. They called it olfactory harassment and demanded the neighbor only grill at times when they were at home. The confidence required to claim victimhood by brisket aroma is genuinely impressive. 8. The Privacy Paradox. A homeowner furiously complained that their neighbor could see into their yard from their second-floor window. The neighbor's house was built first. The complainer moved in, knowing the layout. Yet somehow, this genius expected the original homeowner to either remove their window or never look outside. The entitlement is absolutely hysterical. 9. The Weather Wizard. Someone blamed their neighbor for rain damage to their patio furniture because the neighbor's roof was directing rainwater toward their property. Not through gutters, just by existing. They apparently believed their neighbor should have consulted them before installing a sloped roof in 1987. I swear to you, I am not making this up. 10. The Silence Enforcer. A resident filed multiple complaints because their neighbor S house was too quiet and it made them uncomfortable. They suspected illegal activity because no one could possibly be that peaceful. The police visited 3 times and found a retired librarian reading books. The complainer was disappointed it wasn't more exciting. 11. The Lawn Tyrant. Someone demanded their neighbor cut their grass to exactly 2.3 inches because anything taller was lowering the neighborhood's vibration frequency. They brought measuring tools and a homemade chart. The neighbor S landscaper stared at this presentation for a full minute before asking if this was a prank show. 12. The star blocker. A homeowner complained that their neighbor's security light was blocking their view of the stars. The light was motion activated and pointed downward. This astronomer apparently needed complete darkness to stargaze from their living room window while watching Netflix. Should stupidity be painful? Asking for a friend? 13. The snow redistributor. Someone called authorities because their neighbor was shoveling snow from their driveway into their own yard, claiming the snow belonged to the street and redistributing it was theft. The dispatcher reportedly put them on hold, just to laugh privately. The legal system is not prepared for this level of delusion. 14. The vegetation vigilante. A resident demanded their neighbor remove a 40-year-old oak tree because its leaves were falling into their yard during autumn. They called it biological trespassing. The arborist they consulted gave them a pamphlet on how seasons work and charged them for the emotional labor. 15. The birthday bandit. Someone complained that their neighbor S children were laughing too loudly during a birthday party at 2 p.m. on a Saturday. Not screaming, laughing, this miserable genius called the police and suggested the children be taught to celebrate more quietly. The officer's report is now framed in the station as a morale booster. 16. The smoke signal. Homeowner threatened to sue because their neighbor S chimney smoke was traveling in the wrong direction and entering their yard. They expected the neighbor to control wind patterns or stop using their fireplace entirely during winter. Meteorology has left the chat.